Hi, I'm Super Chuffer. I'm going to give you 3 reasons, the top 3 reasons, why this Nicola Bulley CCTV is fake. Stick around to the end for the Paul Ansel head. First of all, where's her foot? Where's her foot gone? Where's her foot? If you want to watch this CCTV, CCVT, if you want to watch this, it's on Sentries. There's a link in the description below. In the comments, there'll be a pinned comment with the links. Subscribe to this channel. Watch the Nicola Bulley playlist. There's a full... Coming in? Yeah, come on in. People like this sort of thing. Honestly, they like you because you're a cat. They do. They like you because you're a cat. Honestly, they do. See what they say in the chat. See if they say anything about you in the comments. Anyway, check the description of this video. Check the links. There's a Nicola Bulley playlist. We've got loads of videos on it. Loads of videos. Make sure you watch it. There's loads. Big lives. Loads of videos. Check them out. Check the full playlist out, yeah? Subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's get started. 1. Where's her foot? It moves quite quick, doesn't it? Almost too quick, to my liking. Let's slow that down. I'm going to try and do this video nice and quick for you as well, though. The disappearing foot, this one's called. Number 1, the disappearing foot. I think feet shouldn't disappear. They shouldn't be see-through on shot. Oh, it's just the colour, is it? I don't know. You tell me, is this CCTV fake? I think feet shouldn't be see-through. Oh, but they're moving fast, so sometimes when you're moving fast, then, you know, the way the film picks it up. Not that fast, you're not that fast, you're not Billy Whiz. Your foot's see-through. Come on, love. What's going on here? You know, is that fake CCTV? The fact that your foot is see-through, opacity. Some people think that this figure has been cut out and stuck on. Some people think it's been messed with in the post-production, whatever. You shouldn't be able to see through the character. If it's been cut out and stuck on, they mess with the opacity. The opacity, how much you can see through it. And that helps it to blend in with the background. Here, they've messed it up because you can see completely through it. So that's not acceptable. And on the next frame there, still see through it. And on the next frame there, I can still see through your foot. And on the next frame there, I can see through your foot. So these are problem frames where I can see through the woman's foot. So I don't believe that that should be the case on CCTV. You tell me in the comments. That's number 1. Number 2. Right, number 2. I'm going to turn this off so you can see the big screen. The full thing there. You can see the full thing. Right. You're going to want to go to send trees for this. This is where I might have to edit. I want to try and be really quick though, so I'm going to try and do this without editing. But you might want to go to send trees for this. Let me pull you right down to the bottom. No, you can see it here, look. You can see it at the bottom here. And you want to subscribe to this channel and check out the Nicola Bulley playlist that I've done. It's a huge playlist. Loads of really interesting body language. You'll enjoy it. Look at this down here at the bottom of the... This is right at the bottom. Okay, it's at the bottom on my YouTube line. Here's my YouTube line. Here's my mouse. Whee, it's at the bottom. Bottom feeder. Detritivore. That other chuffer. Anyway, look. This here. See this line across where my mouse is? There's a little white line there. And here, there's a white line here. And here, there's a white line here. And here, there's a white line. And here, there's a white... And here, there's a... And here's 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 a... At the bottom, it's almost as if someone's layered up the bricks. They don't layer up properly. So they've coloured some black lines in white and put some black lines in where there need to be black lines. So the brickwork matches up like real brickwork should. Doesn't it? It almost looks like it's a Photoshop job, eh? Or are you telling me their real brickwork has white lines midway through all the bricks? Like that. You're telling me their real brickwork on their drive has white lines. It could be that. It could be that the brickwork is strangely like missing and inconsistent in places. Talking of brickwork, there's another part of the brickwork I want you to see over by Paul Ansel. And now we'll address Paul Ansel as well. Because Paul's got repeating bricks near him. He's got some repeating bricks. I say Paul. I mean, I'm going to show you now that I don't think it is. And, you know... I hope you stuck around for this. I hope you stuck around for this. Right, over here. See over here where my mouse is. You see there's 1, 2, 3 of these little black dots. 1, 2, 3 in a line. Like 1, 2, 3 in a line. Little black dots all in a line. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Bit weird. It's almost as if this one little thing has been cloned a couple of times. The clone tool has been used and it's picked up that black dot and it's dropped it down maybe. Something's going on. They seem a bit consistent and the brickwork not consistent. It looks like someone's been playing Tetris up here with the brickwork. It's not the same. Like the brickwork pattern is the same down here where it's nice and sharp in the image. It's the same. And then there's a break line here. I mean, obviously right at the bottom where we saw it was all messed up and weird. Then there's a break line here where it gets into a different focal. It looks like soft focus. Oh, that's just because it's further away. Is it? Softer focus. Then up here, the brickwork just goes higgledy-piggledy. Someone's just randomly put those bricks in a way. You can look for yourself. You're looking now. Let's look at his head. It's supposed to be Paul, isn't it? Let's look at his head. You're going to want to see his head. Let's get this as big as you can make it. As big as I can possibly make it. Oh, I can make it big. Oh, I can make it nice and big. You like it nice and big. I know you like it nice and big. If you liked it nice and big, you'd check out the playlist, wouldn't you? You would. On your work meeting. Check out the playlist on your work meeting. It's in the description. Or if if you've got the effort, you can go on the channel, subscribe, and look at playlists. And I've got a Madly Armour Cam one as well. It's all worth it. It's all well and good. Right, look. Let's have a look at this character. This is Paul in the CCTV, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, it is, isn't it? Is it? That's what we're supposed to believe. That's what, Jizzy said this proves it. Armchair Detective said this proves it. Paul. So when I scroll back, right, when I'm over here, I'm going to use my little mouse on it. When I'm over here, there's like this part behind his head, and you can't really see what I'm really looking at until I scroll backwards. And as I scroll back and it covers over this brickwork here, you can see around his head here and in between. Oh, it's just artifacts, isn't it? It's just, compression and artifacts. But it's like there's white between his head and his hood. There's a white bit between his head and his hood. And as I move forward, that white bit disappears now over the green. When we get to the green bit, the white bit's gone. There's no white bit between his head and his hood. Oh, of course there's not. No, there's not. Except when we pull back and it appears here now. Starts to appear a white bit. And it's fully on display now. As we move right fully back, it becomes much, much more white. Much, much more white. As if someone's been cutting and moving and pasting and stuff. As I move forward through these frames, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at how Paul changes. Look at that change. Is that his ear? Is that somebody's ear as I move through these 3 frames? That's not right, is it? It's almost as if what someone's done is they've got a picture of Nicola walking around and putting the kids in the car, seeing them in the car, and then walking back around, closing the boot and coming back around and going in the car. And I say, this last bit might be Emma, this last bit. I still say maybe, maybe she didn't, maybe she went around and got in the other car or some other shit. Like, anyway, I think this figure here, I think this is Nicola. I think that's the same figure. I'll tell you what I don't think it is. I don't think it's Paul. And I'll tell you why. And I've shown you, this CCTV is fake. I've shown you 3 big reasons. Invisible foot. Brickwork that doesn't seem to match up in multiple places on the thing. Looks like someone's photoshopped it. And people ask me about the bin. I mean, obviously the bin's not there. Yeah, I get it. We can talk about the bin. Why don't we talk about this? What is going on with this figure? Is this a real, is this how people's faces look on CCTV with those weird giant big ears and like strange pixel face? And then if we move through, all of a sudden, the colour changes on the face like that, doesn't it? People's faces change like that all the time. Probably the way he's twisting his head or some shit. And then, like, as he moves forward, and yeah, we talk about the reflection in the back here and why that's strange, and the wing mirror and all this other stuff. Is that a wing mirror or whatever? But I just want to focus on this bit of white that is or isn't between his head and the hood. That is or isn't a part of, like, you're cutting out his whole head, and you've included that behind his hood, and then you've made it opacity down. Take the opacity out so that it fades out, so that when you're over the green, you can't even see it because it's opacity faded out. But for some reason, over the red, it's picking up and it's being seen, this halo effect around his head, as if he's been cut out and stuck on, and then frame by frame moved around, and his head doesn't move naturally with the figure. His head moves uncoordinated and differently, unnaturally with the figure, and his shoulder, there's movement in the shoulder that's unnatural. Like these 2 frames seem to merge and blur between here and here. Strange frames. I'm saying that's stuck out cut on. I'm not happy with it. I think that's really damning. Some people are not going to see it that way. Some people are still going to say to me that they think that might be some artifact of compression or some shit. Maybe that's not the worst one then. Maybe in actual fact. But I find that the worst one. I just, people have asked me and they've said, oh, but it proves, but Paul's there. And she walks around and she's cross. Isn't she? She's cross. and Paul's there, and they're not talking to each other. Well, of course they're not, because they're not both there. One is somebody putting the kids in the car, and this is somebody else walking in at a separate time. They've cut and shut. They've cut this person and stuck her on, and they've cut this bit from over here. It's like you've got the same frame on 3 different, 4 different, 5, I don't know which different days, and you've cut this bit out with Paul on and stuck this on, and it's not Paul, it's someone else, and you've stuck his head. It's just so messed up. And if people don't spot that and see that, so like, you've got the same skills as me now. I've got the ability to zoom it in because of my lovely streaming, but you know, you've got the copy Sentries uploaded to Sentries channel. Everyone can go and look at it. And if you're Alan Vinicum, you might think about ripping it completely off that and uploading it wholesale to your channel, as if no one's done any work. No one's done any work editing out all of the adverts, editing out all of the bits with that fucking Dan talking, editing out all the bits with those police people, you know, oh, and we think this, and editing out the Emma thing so it's separate, and then putting all the poor bits together so you can watch the whole thing in one and use it on a stream when you want to do a body language react, which is helpful for me because that's how I used it. But Alan, like, fuck Armchair Detective, yeah, obviously. sorry, I just took you down there for a second, but I'm not happy with that. I think I should be happy with that. I think there's some weird, like, is it artifacting then? What is it? Why is it happening behind his head? What is it that's happening? Explain it to me in chat. And if you don't like that, tell me about the invisible feet that we looked at. And if you don't like that, tell me about the brickwork. Job done. Time out. Make sure you watch the playlist. The playlist now. Don't mess me about on that playlist. Don't mess me about on that playlist. You be good, my little podcast. And if you can't be good, you're naughty.